In this video, I want to talk to you about the top books for new entrepreneurs and for early stage entrepreneurs. So if you are a new entrepreneur, if you are just starting your first business, or if you are trying to build a new business, one of the challenges you will run into early stages of entrepreneurship is that it's really easy to get overwhelmed by all the books and the information that's out there, and you don't know which book applies at the current stage of your business. So you end up reading the wrong books, you end up wasting a lot of time. Those books don't really help you in the current stage of business. I've personally read over 1,500 business and self-help books. So in this video, I want to give you the distilled version, the 10 books you should read as an early stage entrepreneur. These are the books I wish I had read when I was starting my business. Coming in at number 10 is the EMyth. The EMyth by Michael Gerber is a game changer for many people because here's the fundamental understanding of EMyth. The EMyth is that most people who start a business are entrepreneurs, but that is a myth. The truth is that most people who start a business are technicians who are good at something, but they're not entrepreneurs. And that is why 80% of small businesses fail in America today. 80% of small businesses fail in 5 years in America today. So this book explains that if you want your business to survive and to thrive, you need to start thinking of yourself and operating as an entrepreneur, not just the technician who's doing the work. You need to build a business based on systems and processes, not a business based on the work of one person, which is you. Now, most people, they start their business because they're good at something. They are technicians. They love doing that thing, and they think they just are going to marry their passion with their business and convert it into a job. And that is where the problem starts. Most businesses are started by technicians who are not entrepreneurs, but they're good at some specific thing, but they're not entrepreneurs. And the problem is, just because you understand the technical work of the business, the technical work, maybe you are a really good coder, or maybe you're a really good expert at something, it doesn't really mean you know how to build a business that delivers that technical work. So when you start a business, you are not just a technician anymore. You're also the CEO, the CTO, the COO, the CFO, the CMO, the VP of HR, all of those things. So you have to understand that when you build a business, you are playing 3 different roles: the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. The technician is the one who's doing the work. The manager is the pragmatic person who craves order, who creates systems and runs the systems. And the entrepreneur is the grand strategist, the visionary, always looking for control. You have to realize that all of these 3 roles are involved in the building of business, and you inside of yourself have these 3 personalities in some ways. Part of you is a technician, part of you is a manager, and part of you is an entrepreneur. And you have to make sure that the entrepreneur inside of you gets to shine, the manager inside of you gets to shine, not just the technician, in order to grow your business. So this book will show you how to grow your business from infancy to maturity, how to handle the 3 roles of the technician, the manager, the entrepreneur, and how to work on your business rather than being stuck working in the business like a technician. This is a groundbreaking book for a lot of people, because people have to understand that being a technician is not enough to build a business. You have to become an entrepreneur, and you have to learn to become an entrepreneur. Coming in at number 9 is Will It Fly by Pat Flynn, which is a Wall Street Journal bestseller. Maybe you have a business idea. You have an idea about some widget or some gadget or some online course or some maybe online software that you want to build, but you're not really sure what to do next. Well, that's where this book comes in. This book will help you answer, does your idea have any merit? Does it have any legs? Will it succeed in the marketplace? Or will it just be a waste of your time and resources? And most importantly, is it a good idea for you and for your vision, for your long-term vision? So this book will help you make sure that your target idea aligns with and supports your long-term goals and visions. And it will help you understand how to assess, how to analyze the market conditions so that you build the right product for the right customers at the right time. This book is all about testing your idea, validating and testing your idea in the cheapest way possible, in the fastest way possible, in the easiest way possible. And once you do that, how do you launch your business? That's what Pat Flynn talks about in this book, Will It Fly? Highly recommend it if you have a business idea, you're toying with some idea and you think, okay, this business has some legs, but I'm not sure how to test it out. I'm not sure if I should pursue this or not. This book will help you evaluate if this idea will fly. So great book on that. All right, the next book number 8, is The 7-Day Startup by Dan Norris. The promise of this book is pretty bold. How you can literally go from idea to launching a business in just 7 days. And it's really applicable if you're trying to launch an online business and you want to test your assumptions. It's a step-by-step guide. You can use the principles of this book in any kind of business. The step-by-step guide that Dan Norris lays out is, on day 1, you have the idea. On day 2, you identify the MVP, the minimum viable product. We'll talk about the minimum viable product is the minimum product, the smallest, cheapest possible you need to build in order to test your idea. Day 3 is about naming your business. Day 4 is about building up your website. Day 5 is coming up with a marketing plan. Day 6 is setting some targets. And day 7 is actually launching the business. Now, that sounds like a really scary small time to get a business from idea to launch. But what Dan Norris says is that sometimes having too much time can be detrimental. So it's better to have very short window of time, which gives you urgency. When you have a really short deadline and you force yourself to deliver within deadline, you find ways to be creative and you find ways to get stuff done. And that's why Dan Norris says that you just need 7 days to launch. From the time you have the idea to the time you launch, all you need is 7 days. And the next thing that I really loved in the book, which as you grow in your business, you realize the importance of this idea, but it's something that even as an early stage entrepreneur, you really have to understand that you should focus on the one metric that truly moves the dial in your business right now and let go of all the other metrics. And that is really important to understand, whether you're trying to build your online business, whether you're trying to build your YouTube channel, whether you're trying to sell a course, whether you're trying to build a podcast, whatever it is. Find out that one metric that you will focus on for the next month or next week or next quarter, ideally at least a quarter, to really grow, to really move that dial. Highly recommend this book if you are in the early stages of trying out a new idea, going from idea to launch in 7 days. Great idea. All right, the next book I want to talk about, the next book I highly recommend is The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. I did a full summary of this book on our channel as well, so check it out. This book is it gives you the fundamental mindsets of entrepreneurship. And one of the biggest changes, one of the biggest things you have to understand in business, in entrepreneurship, is the difference between the lottery mindset and the process mindset. Most new entrepreneurs come into business thinking that all they need is one great idea to make it big. That is a very dangerous mindset. That is the lottery mindset. And that is the reason why wealth will elude most new entrepreneurs who just want to come in, because all they think is that they are waiting for that one great idea. And once they have that great idea, they will go in and they'll make a lot of money. However, the truth is that we have to submit to the process mindset. Building a business is a process, not an event. Building wealth is a process, not an event. It's not about the idea. It's not about your great idea. Idea is maybe 1%. The truth is most of the business is done in execution. Most of the wealth is made in execution. That is the remaining 99%. As MJ DeMarco says, execution is king and ideas are pawns. So a lot of early stage entrepreneurs, a lot of new entrepreneurs will stop themselves because they don't have the perfect idea yet. But you have to understand that waiting for the perfect idea is like waiting for a lottery ticket. That's not going to happen. Ideas are really worthless. Execution is where the real game is. So make sure you're focused on execution. Make sure you're focused on the process mindset. Don't skip the process mindset, because then wealth will always elude you. The next big mindset, the next big idea in this book is hitting the red line. And this idea is so crucial when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's the difference between interest and commitment. Most new entrepreneurs, early stage entrepreneurs, they're interested in the business, but they're not fully committed to it. When you're interested in an idea, when you're pursuing an idea just because you're interested in a little bit, you will quit after the first or the second or the third failure. But when you're truly committed to a cause, when you're truly committed to a business, you will continue on after the 100th failure. So what MJ DeMarco is talking about when it comes to hitting the red line is the idea that the red line is the ultimate commitment. where you go from not just having interest, but ultimate commitment to the cause. Only when you are truly committed when you will actually figure out a way. That's when your business will truly take off. This is a very important lesson to learn. This is a lesson you will come across again and again. Until you're fully committed, you just do not break through. So the commitment is a requirement. As MJ DeMarco says, interest is first gear while commitment is red line. All right, another great idea I love from the book is that timing is never perfect. Waiting leads to mediocrity. People wait around. A lot of new entrepreneurs, wantrepreneurs, early stage entrepreneurs, they sit around waiting for that perfect opportunity, the perfect idea. But there's nothing like the perfect time or the perfect opportunity. You have to create those. You have to create the perfect time and the perfect opportunity. Someday is a dangerous and paralyzing myth. It doesn't exist. Someday never comes. So you have to start now. There are a lot of great ideas in this book. I summarized it. I'll leave a link to the summary in the description below. All right, coming in at number 6 is Business Model Generation by Alex Osterwalder. Now, whether you are trying to build a technology startup or you're trying to build an online business or whatever business you're trying to build, this book will help you understand your business model, what you're trying to build. It'll help you understand your current business model in a much better way. It'll help you analyze your competitor's business model in a methodical fashion. It'll help you identify the key differentiators you have, and it'll help you identify the factors that you can improve on. You will learn how to analyze and to renovate, to improve on any existing business model. You'll learn how to systematically understand a business model, design a business model, and implement a business model. And as Osterwalder talks about in the book, there are 9 key building blocks of every business model, which are the key partners, the cost structure, the key activities, the key resources, the value proposition, the revenue streams, the customer relationships, the channels, and the customer segments. Osterwalder talks about a lot of these in detail, and he breaks down with different examples and different big businesses and how their models are set up compared to some of their competitors. The key here is no matter what business you're building, if you start with this model, if you look at this model and you try to fill in these different components of your business model, you start to see what is possible for your business. You will start to see what your competitors are doing and what you can do differently. And that is what makes this book really powerful, especially when you're an early stage entrepreneur, when you are a new entrepreneur and you're not sure how you can distinguish yourself from your competition. This matrix, in some ways, this graph, this 9 building blocks of the business model will help you identify where you stand compared to your competitor so you can stand out. Highly, highly recommend this book. Next book I recommend is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Now, this book changed my life. I used to think that as a computer engineer, I had 2 options. I could either work till the age of 65 and retire and enjoy my quote-unquote golden years, or I could try to build a technology startup, take money from VCs, be stuck in a city or a location for 10 years, hoping that one day I'll sell off the company or build it to a giant company so that I'll be able to, say, take some time off and enjoy some time. And that is what most people live in. Most people live in this dichotomy of these 2 dreams: either retire at 65 with a lot of money or build a business and make tens or hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars and retire and enjoy life. But what Tim Ferriss talks about in this book is a very different way of building a business which is cash flowing business that makes you money and gives you the freedom to enjoy your life. An online business, what Ferriss is talking about in this book, is building an online business that you can run from anywhere in the world. I can literally run my business from any corner of the world as long as I have my laptop and a Wi-Fi connection, and you can do the same. So 2,000 books, literally, the whole business is a result of this book. The title of this book is rather misleading. You should not be aiming to work 4 hours a week in order to live a great life. You will be working a lot more. You will be working a lot more to build this business, but you will have opportunities to live the 4-hour work week at stretches of time. But the key is having the freedom to run your business from anywhere in the world at any time in the world. So this book will open your mind to a completely new kind of business, new kind of life that you may not have imagined until now. All right, the next book number 4 that I want to present to you is The Startup Owner's Manual by Steve Blank. Steve Blank is a professor of entrepreneurship at Stanford, and he literally wrote the manual. This is the manual for any startup owner. This is the step-by-step process for building a startup, especially if you're building a tech startup. Though I believe the principles of Startup Owner's Manual apply for any kind of entrepreneurial venture. Wherever there's a business idea and the idea is still not tested and proved, it is something of a startup, and the ideas from this book will totally apply to your business. You see, one of the most dangerous myths in entrepreneurship is build it and sell it. Build it and then sell it and scale it. If you build it, they will buy it. But the challenge is, the truth is, the key job of a startup is to find a scalable, profitable business model, not just building something and then trying to sell it. Because if you just build something without knowing if your customers want it, well, you are in trouble, because now you spend all the time and effort and energy and resources on building something that you don't know if your customers want. So you can't just build a product and expect to sell it to the audience. The only way that works is in a well-defined business which understands its products and its customers. When you are a startup, you have to go through the process of what's called customer development, trying to understand your customers rather than making assumptions. And in order to understand your customers, you must get out of the building. You must talk to them face to face, as Steve Blank says. You must talk to them. You must be able to understand their problems, their frustrations. You must be able to understand how important the problem is to the customer and exactly how many customers are talking about it. You have to be able to understand, is this problem important enough to the customer that it's worth solving? All of these things you need to understand before you decide to build a product. And that's what Steve Blank talks about in this book, Startup Owner's Manual. And Steve Blank also talks about the idea of the MVP that a startup must build. An MVP is a minimum viable product. It's not a fully baked product. It's a minimum product that will allow you to test your hypothesis about your market, your customers, and your marketing channels and all those things. But you have to understand one thing. When you are in a startup phase, it's not the time to scale your business. It is the time to figure out your MVP. It is time to test your hypothesis, figure out what is the right thing to build. And that's what this book will show you. What is the right thing to build? And don't make the mistake of assuming that you know what is the right thing to build. That's where most entrepreneurs fail. They put all their energy and effort into building something that they don't even know if the customers want it. And then they go and try to sell it only to find that nobody really cares for it. This book is the complete manual, an A to Z guide that every founder, whether you're a tech founder, whether you're a non-tech founder, doesn't matter. You need this book to understand how to build a startup. All right, the next book number 3 that I recommend is How to Win at the Sport of Business by Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, he is an American entrepreneur. He's a billionaire. He's the owner of Dallas Mavericks NBA team. He's the investor on Shark Tank. He's the owner of Landmark Theaters, Magnolia Pictures, founder of Broadcast.com, and his net worth is estimated to be around $3 billion at this time. There are a lot of great lessons on mindset, on business mindset in this book that will help you in your entrepreneurial journey. And I like to refer to this book all the time because it's a really great, easy read. And it's just a collection of his blog posts, of his best blog posts. One of the great lessons I learned from this book, and something I try to teach to my coaching clients all the time, is don't drown in opportunity. Most businesses die not because they lack opportunities, but because they have too many opportunities. So the key for an entrepreneur is to not drown in opportunity. Don't fall prey to the shiny object syndrome. Most entrepreneurs, what happens, and this is something I see very often with my coaching clients, they come to me and they say, okay, I'm trying to make this work, and they're trying to take the next step in their business, and they're struggling with a certain product or service, and they've hit a tough patch. And when they hit the tough patch, what they do is they try to run away from it and start something new. Maybe they already have a product that's working, and they say, oh, I should launch a new channel or a new product, or I should launch a podcast because this product has maxed out. But the truth is, you've just hit a tough patch, and you need to work through it rather than look for a new opportunity. You have to work through it. You have to stop running away from it. You cannot give up on it. You have to go through this tough patch to figure out, and that is where your true opportunities lies. That's where your true opportunities lie in the game of business in many ways. Before you figured out one product and one marketing channel, one sales channel, you try to start another product or another marketing channel, another sales channel. That's not going to work. The key to business, the key to entrepreneurship is focus, 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 and even more focus. As Mark Cuban likes to say, you have to win the battles you are in before you take on the new ones. You don't really have unlimited time and resources, so you have to spend all of your time and resources on winning the current battle. You have to know what your core competencies are, and you have to make sure you focus on becoming the best at them. And this is what Mark Cuban says that I love. He says, if you are the main engine in your company, new challenges can be deadly, because they will dilute your ability to win the wars you're currently in. They can increase the risk of injuring your primary business, and they will dilute your core competency. So the key lesson is to not drown in opportunity. Now, I just told you one lesson from this book, and this book has tons of lessons like this, tons of lessons on business mindset that I highly recommend. I see this as one of the most common mistakes in early stage entrepreneurs. They're trying to do too many things, and they don't have the capacity to do all these things, and hence they keep on drowning. Until they start to give up on a lot of things and just focus on one thing, they will continue to flounder, they'll continue to struggle. So really important lesson to understand. All right, book number 2 that I highly recommend is Elon Musk's Biography by Ashley Vance. Elon Musk is one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our times, and this book will literally force you to think bigger, much, 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 much bigger. And one of the lessons I hope you will take away from this book is that business is not easy. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It's a grind. It's going to be 10 times harder than you think it is going to be. And paradoxically, that is what's going to make you succeed. When you understand that business is going to be hard, you're going to stick with it. You're going to give your very best with it. It takes a lot of blood. It takes a lot of sweat. It takes a lot of tears. And when you understand that it's going to take all the hard work, you're much more likely to put that hard work in. In fact, I did a great episode, a podcast episode on this topic that's quickly become one of the most popular podcast episodes on the 2000 Books podcast, and I highly recommend you check it out. And that's the key. You have to understand that entrepreneurship is not easy, that things are not going to be easy in your business. You know, Elon Musk might be one of the most celebrated entrepreneurs of our times, but he has been through the toughest of challenges as he has built SpaceX and Tesla and SolarCity, and he has been so close to bankruptcy, and he's been so close to being wiped out. He has gone through a lot of stuff to make these businesses work. And as Elon Musk says, the most important thing an entrepreneur must have is a very, very high pain threshold. So realize, entrepreneurship is going to be painful. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be hard work. And that is a really important message to understand when you are an early stage entrepreneur, when you are a new entrepreneur. Don't assume it's going to be easy just because you are really smart, or just because you have the mental wherewithal, or just because you have an IQ of 200. It doesn't matter. You're still going to have to grind it out. Another really important lesson I learned from this book, and I hope you will learn too as well, is that obsession is a requirement for greatness. When Elon Musk started his first business, Zip2, in America, he used to sleep under his desk. He didn't even get an apartment. He used to go bathe at the YMCA and sleep at Zip2 all the time. And when he was trying to raise funds for that startup, one of the VCs asked him, "Why should we give you the money?" And Elon said, "Hey, I'm like a samurai. I will die for this business. That's exactly how I live my life. So you have to understand that I will do anything to make this business work." And the VC ended up investing in Elon Musk. When he was trying to make SpaceX work, he literally put all of his money on the line on the 4th rocket, which finally took off. The first 3 rockets were a failure, and then he had to put all of his personal money into SpaceX to make it work. And he actually did it. Same, he was trying to make Tesla work. There was a time when both of Elon's companies, SpaceX and Tesla, were a few days away from bankruptcy, but he kept on going. He kept on going because he was obsessed with making these a success. He works 100 hours a week. He's a maniac. He's obsessed. And believe it or not, that is the only path to doing a great business, to building a great business, to building a great life. We all know that there is no greatness without obsession. Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, Albert Einstein, John D. Rockefeller, whoever you think of, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, these are all very obsessed people. These are the most obsessed people you will ever meet. So realize obsession is a requirement for greatness in business and in life. So if you are trying to build a business, if you are trying to build your early stage venture, you have to understand that you will need to be obsessed in order to make it a great success. All right, coming in at number 1, the book I recommend the most for any new or early stage entrepreneurs is The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. I did a full summary of this book on our channel, so make sure to check it out as well. You see, one of the most important things that you have to understand is that a startup is not an established business, and hence the rules of the game are completely different. The goal of an established business that has a profitable business model already is how fast and efficiently can we make something. On the other hand, the goal of a startup is to figure out the right thing to build as quickly as possible. The goal of a startup is to figure out a profitable business as quickly as possible. And one of the deadliest mistakes you can make as an entrepreneur, as an early stage entrepreneur, is building a product without knowing if there's a market for that product. So this book explains the keys to building a startup. And the fundamental key to building a startup is to validate your hypothesis as quickly as possible, as cheaply as possible, as easily as possible, using the idea of a minimum viable product. This book really shows you how to build your startup in a methodical, step-by-step manner, rather than just throwing stuff against the wall, rather than just trying things randomly, hoping that something will stick. I have literally used the principles from this book to launch my first product in 2016, and I have launched 7 products since then using the same principles from this book. This book literally dispels a really important, a really insidious entrepreneurial myth that keeps entrepreneurs stuck. The myth of the great idea. This book shows that maybe entrepreneurship is 5% or even less than 5%. It's about your idea. The remaining 95% or even 99% is about execution. It's about testing your assumptions, about doing things, about learning quickly, changing the course, about pivoting or persevering. This book, Lean Startup, and The Startup Owner's Manual by Steve Blank, these are like sister books to each other that will help you in building your startup in a step-by-step methodical fashion. All right. I want to also give you some bonus books that I love as well that I could not include in this top 10 list, but these are honorable mentions. Build to Sell by John Warlow. This book, you should read it before you even start your business so that you will know how to structure your business, how to make sure you're building the business the right way so that it's sellable at a later time, so that it is scalable and sellable. Another book that I love is Little Bets, which talks about how great innovation is not some giant breakthrough idea that someone has, but instead a result of a lot of small experiments done over and over again. So great innovation is a result of execution, not a result of one breakthrough idea or one giant breakthrough idea. That's what this book talks about. And The $100 Startup is a book that teaches you how you can build an online business for less than $100, and the business can literally change your life. This book follows a lot of the principles of the 4-hour Workweek, so a sister book to that in many ways. Now, if you enjoyed this book list, I'm pretty sure you will enjoy my other lists of best books for entrepreneurs, the top books for million-dollar businesses, the top books for new entrepreneurs, the top books for experts, the top books for lifestyle entrepreneurs, the top books for online entrepreneurs, the top books for digital nomads, the top books for tech entrepreneurs. And you can find all these lists at 2000books.com/bonus. 2000books.com/bonus. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel because I have a lot of book summaries on this channel for entrepreneurs, and make sure to give that thumbs up to the video. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.